G'day guys, this one is different. I am voiceovering this one again Sunday night. I decided to pull out, these are this collection is the Nautical collection from Scrapbook Fantasies. These guys gifted this to me, which is fantastic. Thank you so much, Alicia and Quentin. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I wanted to do something different. Now, I know this is a nautical themed, but I had this idea in my head that I wanted to create a fan. I know. I don't know why my brain does what my brain does, but sometimes I've just got to let you know, it goes on a bit of a tangent. Now, this is my scoring board. It is the We Are Memory Keepers one. It is an older one. I have had it for years and years and years. I absolutely love it. If I could still get blades for this, I would be using it all the time because it is the best. Everything stays plumb and true with this, but I can't get the blades anymore. Anyway, that's my rant over. So I'm not really measuring this. All I did was at the top of the fan, I lined the top piece up so that my fan pieces are going to be 1 inch wide. Then I bring it down to, at the bottom, I sort of line it up with the 2.5 centimeter piece at the bottom. That's really the only measurements I used. And I'm just doing this off the top of my head. So you create a fan however you see fit. This is how I do it. So I score the 1 inch line. Then I go across 1/4 inch just to give me that extra bit of, so I can fold it back the other way is what I'm trying to say. So I fold one side, then I fold it back the other way. And it creates a nice fan look. Now this paper has actually got, it looks like water. That's what it looks like on it. But as you can see, all these bits and pieces, they just go together so well. I don't know why I just cut that off straight. I don't know why I did that. That was so stupid. But I do fix it. I'll show you how I fix it. Now, this is where I wanted to have texture. So this is how I go through and fix it. So I'm just cutting a tiny little wedge out so that you've got more of that fan look. I don't know why I cut it like that. You'd think I'd learn by now, wouldn't you? Now, I'm just going ahead. I am texturing the edges of the fan just to add more texture. What I wanted to do on this layout was show you how with these collections you can create lots of depth and texture without adding mixed media to the page. I do put a little bit of paint on there, but I wouldn't say that's mixed media. That's just a tiny bit of paint. I apologize for my voice. I've just done another voiceover, and as I said in that video, I had my father's 70th birthday party last night at a nice restaurant at called the Como at Redcliffe, and I've got to say, my voice today, it's struggling a little bit. It's not that it was a huge party. My brothers, I've got to tell you, they had a blast. There was 2 out of my 3 brothers. They had a considerable quantity of alcohol, and they bounced back this morning perfectly. 100%. Messaged both their wives, both my sister-in-laws. Well, I've got 3, but I messaged 2 of them. And I'm like, so who's got a sore head this morning? These guys were downing fruit tingles, Long Island iced teas. They were doing Scotch neat. They were doing, it was like, oh my God, they're not going to get out of bed in the morning. But I've got to tell you, my brothers are big boys and they can hold their alcohol very nicely. And I've got to tell you, not that I condone them drinking as much as they did, but they were having a blast, and, you know, they loved it. They really did. They loved it. So it was fantastic. Now, I've got my fan sorted out, and I saw this little window. Now, if you're watching closely, you're going to realize where my mistake is in a minute that I then have to try and fix. I went around the edges of this door. Technically it's a door slash window. I'm using it as a window, but that's completely your call whether you want it to be a window or a door. But they always have, Alicia always has these sheets. Every page is double-sided, and you can literally you've got your fussy cutting bits and pieces. And actually, are these all double-sided, or am I delusional? Hang on a minute. Hold that thought. Don't quote me on that yet. I may correct myself. I thought the reason I liked these was because they were single-sided. No, they are all double-sided. So, I don't know what I was thinking. But, yeah, they're double-sided, so you get that. She puts in a lot of extra artwork that is fussy cuttable. And sometimes it's lots of florals. Sometimes, this time it is nautical based. So there's, you know, there's windows, there's wooden fences, there's kind of sandy beach effect, there's other doors. Now this stencil is from Scrapbook Fantasies as well, and it's actually called LACY Background Stencil. That's what it's called. And whilst it is lacy, if you cordon a bit of it off, it sort of looks like water flowing a little bit. So I thought that might help me add a bit of interest around the outside edge. I'm using unbleached titanium paint, and it is from SONYAS. It's the artist acrylic paint from Spotlight. It is great. It is really good. It's very opaque, so you don't need to use a lot of it. And this is my white. I just wanted to put some white splatters on here before I put anything else down, just to add extra texture to it. And yeah, I really like how this one's turning out. I know that fan looks like it's just floating in midair at the moment, but once I put the photos down, it will all come together and make sense. So, I'm so sorry, my throat is killing me. I really hope I'm not getting sick, to be quite honest with you. I realise there's so many bugs and grubs going around, but that is okay. I'm going to soldier on. And there you go. You can see some of the fussy cut bits there. Now, this collection, while I don't do much boating wise or anything like that, can you see how I put the frame upside down? You can't really see it super closely, but at the top you can see that there's some grass. So I've actually put it on upside down. And it was only at this point that I was like, great, now I've got to figure out a way to cover that up without it looking like an afterthought. So I figured instead of it looking like doors, I was going to go ahead and add an extra piece onto the top. So I've cut that bow out at the bottom, and I know that looks very... I was thinking about the bow for the bottom of the fan. That's what my brain was going. But I ended up having to sort of skip over that idea, and I was fussy cutting this knot. It's a rope knot, and I was fussy cutting it and getting the... Yep. I was fussy cutting it so that I could use it. I end up putting it there where it is at the bottom. I was thinking it could be the rope that goes around the bottom of the fan. You know how you tie them off? But that's when I realised that at the top there... Whoops, I'm a donkey. So that's how wide those two ribbon pieces are, right? You could probably use them in the window as like a curtain or something like that. But I decided to take off the outside bits and narrow it down a little bit so that it would go together. And they line up perfectly, which is great. And I'm just trimming off the white edges just so it sort of looks more like it's meant to be there, not like I'm covering up grass. We all do it, right? It's just stupid. I can't believe I did that, but anyway, that's okay. So at this point, I then decided to go around with my Distress Oxide Scorched Timber is the colour. And I just love that brown, honestly. Tim, you're a legend. I'm just writing it down so I don't forget to put it in the information at the end. Now, I decided that I wanted to tuck that rope underneath the brown textured layer, so it looks like it's literally supposed to be holding on. And it does work. Works in the end. Now, I was starting to get a little bit lost here because by having to put that rope at the top, it threw me off completely. That rope, that curtain sort of look. Now, these little flowers, they were sent to me as well. They sent me a stack of little things. Butterflies, keys, flowers. I think that's a button. Maybe. Some sort of button or something. And they're just little sprinkly bits that you can put somewhere. And I thought those little flowers will work perfectly. You can see them up the top there. They're just sort of sprinkled around. So then I decided to pull out my my big plastic containers that I have pre-cut a load of letters out, and I've got them sitting there so I can just create a title whenever I want. I don't have to pull out my die cut machine and cut the title. Super handy, super. And I find that I use my lettering dies a lot more. This one is the SIZZIX THINLETS ABC die, and it's number 665205. And I will have that written in the description below, don't panic. And I just pulled out my distress watercolor pencils, and I'm using Blueprint Sketch to start off with. And then I came back over the top with some chipped sapphire. So I just didn't think it was, I thought it was a bit too bright. It needed a little bit of darkening up it just to sort of get it going. And as you can see, I'm just touching the end of the pencil with some water, and it's dispersing the color perfectly. So now I am putting down the white one, and this is where I create the drop shadow effect. And I love doing this. You can do this with, I had someone ask me how I can do this if I don't have stickers. This is a way of doing it with your thickers. It's super simple. Put down whatever color. So you could do that white, black. You could do it solid blue. You could put white on the top and have the blue in the background. Completely up to you how you want to do it. But the only thing you have to remember is always place your top letter on the same side. So I like to put my colored letter to the top right, because I like my shadow to always be on the bottom left. I don't know why, that just appeals to me. There's no hard and fast rule. You do it how you want to do it. And then can you see, you end up with that nice drop shadow effect, and it gives you a nice title, but that's just a die. That's all it is. So even if you don't buy the expensive dies, you might be going on some of the cheaper sites, getting some from there, and you can create titles like that. So, you know, I think it looks really good. We're nearly done, guys. I'm just doing a little bit of pen work. Now, this is my Uniball Signo broad white pigment pen, and I absolutely love it because when it goes down, it stays bright white, and I love, love, love that. Now, this particular photo I've already scrapped before, but for some reason I printed it twice. I don't know why. And because it was black and white, I decided I would use it. And even though this is a nautical themed paper collection, it doesn't look nautical. I think I pulled it off. You tell me what you think. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Now, I did want to emphasize the fan lines a little bit more. So what I decided to do was use my chipped sapphire distress watercolor pencil, and just added some water to my little plastic stamping block, and I'm just adding some of the color in the background to create more of a shadow, because even though it's folded as a fan, it doesn't necessarily look like there's much of a shadow there because I've stuck it down. And this is just helping to create a little bit more texture. And, you know, that's good. That works for me. And let me know what you think. If you've got the distress watercolor pencils, this is another way to be using them, because let's be honest, they're not a cheap investment and you need to use them. They don't go off like other wet mediums. They will still be working 10 years from now. I'm sure of it. And this is where I decided to put just a couple of little bits of bling on there, and that is it, guys. That's the layout. Super duper simple. I've been asked to do a few more simple pages, so I will endeavour to do a few more simple ones like this. Let me know what you think. You may not like the entire layout, but there might be a section that appeals to you. Let me know what you think, and is it something that you would do? See how I tucked that rope in behind there? It just looks like it's real rope then. So there you go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, guys. All that sort of fun stuff. And I will be back with another video for you on Friday. Thanks so much for watching. And I will chat to you then. Bye for now.